Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
I'm going to do my best to pronounce this game. Eschnapur das Geheimnis des Golden Temples. I'm going to go on a limb and say something to do with Golden Temples. And this is one of those games that came out. I'm not sure if it's ever translated into English. Mine is a non-English speaking version, but it's a beautiful game. And I think when it came out, it must have knocked the socks off people. Unfortunately, I didn't play it until 2018. Let's talk about the components. The components are really good. It's a good-looking game, especially for its time period. And that Buddha figure that you get in this game is probably one of the single best components I've ever seen in a game. It looks like a trinket you would buy on a vacation or something. It's really good. It's solid. It's nice. And I just can't fathom it was included in this board game or why, but it is there. And the components are nice. The tiles are good. I mean, everything just looks dated now. This looks like something you could tell that came out in the early 2000s. It's a solid game to look at and to play. And it's really good. There's a lot of interesting things going on. It has a little bit of luck in it based on the card draw, but it's a really fun game, and your decisions matter. And this is a game that, had I played it 10 years ago, I would have loved and adored, but there's a few strikes going against it. One, it's not in English, which is fine. It's all language independent, so I get through the rules, which are really simple. It's one of those, simple to play games, but gives you some deep strategy. But I was squarely putting the light to medium. The components are good. I like what you're doing. You're kind of moving around the board. It's got those nice wooden components to look at when you're looking at the board. It's really, really nice. But I just feel like there's some other games and mechanisms that have come apart that I liked better than this at the time. There is some really neat things going on. You're going to have the interesting decisions. The look of it is nice. I like the theme of going to the temple, moving around the board. One thing that's a huge turnoff for me in the game is the catch-up mechanism. Now, I know there's a catch-up mechanism saying power grid, and that tends to work with me because it makes sense within the theme. In this one, you get a monk, and all of a sudden you're doubling your score. It screams at me that the game doesn't work. So now I have to make this alternative way for people to score so they can stay in the game. I don't know that I like that. Maybe you want to stay behind to double your score because it's going to be more beneficial. It just feels artificial to me, and I don't like that in a game. It's a turnoff for me in this game. It tells me the game doesn't work. Now they have to make up this rule, and it just boggles my mind. I don't like that. Find a game that works without having this thing. Or if you're going to put this red herring in, it's going to be a catch-up mechanism, do it where I don't notice it as much. I mean, it's blatant in here that if you're behind, it's in the rulebook, you're going to have this catch-up mechanism, and I don't like that whatsoever. Now, if you never played this game, it reminds me of like a Tico-type game, in that kind of aspect, that kind of era, if you will. I think it's one you should check out. I think it's really good. I think that you have a lot of fun with it. I think people who like that kind of basic gameplay will find it here. And I think that it'll be a very challenging game for you that you'll quite enjoy. For me, it's going to be a Purge. We played it to death. I'm kind of done with it now. I've moved on to other games. But I feel like this one does have a place in your gaming collection. So here are the components. You're going to get a very striking cover. This guy looking at a map, seeing this golden palace. You're going to see, I guess, a Buddha sticking his head out. It doesn't have a lot to do with the game, but I guess you're kind of looking at this treasure, this golden temples. I can't read the language that it's written in. You're going to have a rule book. We'll take a look at this in a few minutes. I'm going to have the English translations. You're going to have a game board, and this game board's actually really nice. You're going to have like a little Buddha temple here. You're going to have some markings around it. It looks really cool. Actually, I'm not sure it had much to do with the theme, but it does have a striking view to it, if you ask me. Probably the single greatest component ever in a board game. This thing, I cannot tell you. It just feels like a knick-knack you would find, when you're traveling somewhere. It's really neat. It's heavy. It's very detailed. It just actually is amazing when I open this up. You get some little wooden parts that you utilize to move around the board. One scoring and one will be your person, which is fine. Nowadays, we're kind of used to miniatures. You're going to have some cards. They're okay. I mean, you can kind of see what's going on here, but there is some wear and tear. All the little tokens and tiles you're going to get are fine. A little bit on the small side, but they're all right. The money's going to be this, so no paper money here. It's going to be tens and ones in here. And these are your player aids, but since they're in another language, they don't really help me out too much. Not a custom insert. You didn't really see those back when this game was released, but it does fit everything. It's a little too big. Maybe it's there just to fit the board. It could have been in a smaller box for sure. Who do we got in here? We got somebody, I got this secondhand. It looks like a Greg Schlosser. So Greg Schlosser, if you're ever watching this video, I have your copy right here. And thank you for selling it and letting me have a copy.
Here is the rule book. You're going to see the picture of the cover. Now, this is not in English, so I couldn't really learn from this, but it does have a great picture of setup, which was very helpful, actually, when I was reading through the English copy that I have. Lots of words here, not a lot of pictures. You can see a little bit of the tokens and stuff that's going on, which actually helped me to refer back to it, because it's really good. It uses the player aid here on the side to kind of show you where things are at. And then you're going to see some white space here at the back. I can't read any of this. This is the English that I use. I printed off the Geek, and it worked fine. I didn't really have any problems using this in some of the pictures from the original box. Okay, so you're going to have a scoring piece that you'll put on the 0, and you have a little person that's wooden that you start on your spot, and there's one for each color, so everybody will start in a different location. When it starts out, everybody will start with a pass card, and whenever you utilize this, you will be able to get it back, no problem. You'll start out with 2 random number cards that will be yours, and you'll start out with a random symbol card. Okay, so that's kind of what you're going to have to start the game out with. And then you'll have these 2 movement chips that will move you around the board. And you'll start out with $20 in money, and you'll be ready to go. So on your turn, you will be able to draw 2 of these tokens, and you will be able to keep one, and you can auction one off or give it to the bank. So let's say I want to keep this one. So I'll keep this one, and I can auction this off to everybody else, or I can give it to the bank and just get 2 coins for it. But if I wanted to auction it off, I could. Now, when you're moving, you can utilize this anytime by discarding these and using them, and you'll move around the board and go around. If you stop in place of where there is a treasure left, you'll flip it over and you'll score the smaller of the amount. And if you look here, you'll see there's a 5 and an 8. I would have to give up a card matching the symbol that's in front of it, right here. So I give up that card, and then I would score the 5 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that still leaves the 8 victory points left on it. So everybody's going to take a card and place it face down and reveal it at the same time. It'll be a number card. So what you do is whoever played the highest number will then get the victory points listed on here. In this case, 8. So the next player would get 8 victory points. And whoever played the lowest card, let's say they played the 1, then they would get however many coins are listed on here. In this case is none. So that's not a very good example. Let's say they played the 13, then whoever played the lowest card would get the coins. In this case, you would get 2 coins. If you played your pass card, you're going to get 4, but remember, you get your 4 back. After you reward the highest and lowest bidder, you discard all the cards, and that's kind of how it goes. The game ends when 13 of the 15 treasures are taken up, and players will continue to move around these boards, and then whoever scored the lowest and got the coins got to keep the treasure marker, and you continue to go. Now, one other rule that there is in the game with those tokens, if you ever get 12 of them, so these have little numbers on them on the top, you see in this case 2, if you ever get it where you have at least 12, you can give them up to the bank and draw 2 additional cards of your choice from either of the stacks. So that's how you play. Very simple game. It does have some trading involved. It has some movement. You don't always have the cards that you want. You got to kind of maybe do something different and kind of plan for that. But you'll just be moving around this board using these movement tiles. So it'll be on these big, large tokens that you'll get, or these small ones that you'll get. Move around, give up the cards you need, and then there'll be a little bit of a bidding. You can also auction things off, which is kind of cool that you can do in this game.
Who should buy this game? Anybody who likes light to medium Euros is going to hit that spot. If they like that Indiana Jones kind of feel, even though I'm kind of squinting to see it here, it's here. You know, you can see the temples you're going to be going into, and that kind of diving down for archaeology and goodies, if you will. It's here. A little bit abstract, you know, light, medium. Maybe the same way Ticket to Ride is about trains, right? And route building is what you're going to get here. Very neat little game. Very simple to pick up and understand. Very easy to play. But still gives you that light to medium interesting decisions. If that's where you're at, you like those type of games, then I would definitely say this is one you should add to your collection. For me, it's going to be a Purge. I moved on to other things, but that does not speak about the quality of this game
Thanks
at all.
for watching the video. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you liked it, please like it and hit that little subscribe button. That really helps out the channel, lets us know that you're getting the videos that you want. If you agreed or disagree with what I said, feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I promise that I will comment back. Thanks for watching, and everybody else, keep playing.